Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Today is June 5th, 2020, and it's the 83rd day since the world has changed with our contagion. In our last time together, we looked at the apostles being sent out by Jesus, and he tells them to don't go to the Gentiles, don't go to the Samaritans, but go to Israel, get a toehold in Israel first. I think of the give me a shovel and a place to stand and I can move the world, and that's exactly what happened with that command. But today we're going to talk about money, because there are two apparently contradictory statements in this passage. The one is, as he sends them out, he says, "The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, cast out demons." Incredible things that if you had one of those things, you'd pay anything. You'd give your right arm to heal from cancer, or cleanse from leprosy, or raise somebody from the dead that you loved. And then he says this: "You received without paying, give without pay." And then 2 verses later, in 9, he says, "Acquire no gold, nor silver, or copper for your belts, no bag for your journey, nor 2 tunics, nor sandals, nor a staff, for the laborer deserves his food." The bottom line, he says, the gospel is should be completely detached from money. And then on the other hand, he says the gospel is completely attached to money. Let's talk about the latter first. Verse 10, the laborer deserves his food. First of all, pastors and spiritual ministers, in my opinion, have the hardest job in the world. Like, who do you call when you get a bad news? Let's say a cancer news, or someone you know is wrestling with death or has lost their battle with death, and you're overwhelmed with grief. Or who do you know when you've violated, let's say, the vows of your marriage, and you want to return and confess? Who do you call? Well, your pastor is the guy that's getting these calls. He's the one that's standing in the breach for us in the most essential of areas. And so verse 10 says, the laborer, the pastor, deserves his food. The notes in my Bible said that those to whom are ministered to should be supporting their mission. I thought that was very well said. Why? Well, because I don't know if you've ever worked at a church or seen what goes on, or served on a missions board, or been a trustee or a building manager, but there's a million things. There's health insurance, and parking lot repaving, and buildings to build, and mission trips to go on, and ministries to support, and kids to clothe, and families to support, and food banks to fill up. So these people that are involved in this have physical needs just like you do, and so you should be contributing and paying them so that they are at liberty to do the hardest job that's out there. There's another thing we're not going to talk about today, and that is that finances is a marker of spiritual maturity, but that's a different matter. All right, so let's go to verse 8 now. Apparently contradictory. It says, hey, the gospel should be completely detached from money. You received without paying, and give without paying. I was thinking about Jeff Bezos. I think he's the richest guy in the world. And if Jeff Bezos came to a pastor and said, look, I know that you guys have a spiritual gift here, and I need spiritual salvation, and I want to go to heaven, and I would like my family to go to heaven, how much would it cost? Well, Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, does not have enough money to buy a fraction of a drop of Jesus's blood, let's say, to use a metaphor, to buy his own salvation. Even though it's the most highest valued thing that there is, you can't attach money to it. In fact, if you probably a good marker for churches is if you find one that's so attached to money, you probably should run the other direction. It's the highest value thing that we can have for some people that have been tortured and suffered at the hands of other people. It's the last remaining thing that they have. It's priceless. And just imagine a church that was so attached to the gospel, to finances, that it could distort their gospel. And I think you can turn on the TV and get some really good examples very easily. So the gospel is supposed to be completely detached from money in a sense, because it's too precious. It's a price you couldn't pay. Jeff Bezos couldn't pay it. It has to be a gift. None of us can afford a drop. So on one hand, the charge is give your money, support your pastors, give to the building fund, support the mission, be generous with this. These are real people who have real needs. And on the other hand, you are working with something that is so valuable that even money can't describe it.